Let me start this out by saying there is something we agree on, and thank you for your statement that we are in a very dangerous place now, and we can only be torn apart from the inside. I think that is very true, and I think this president has placed us in a very dangerous place and is tearing us apart. I won't repeat the question because I'm thankful to my colleague who just asked the same question about the anti-discrimination clause. But let me just ask you this. When we look at your Rent Increase Work Requirements Act of 2008, when my colleague said that it was tripling, going from $50 to $150, when we look at it going from 30% of the adjusted income to 35% gross, you said it didn't affect many people. Can you qualify that by defining numbers of what not many people, because there's a chart, and I recognize you can't see it, behind you that has some very alarming numbers to me. But what's your numbers when you say not many?
Well, I was talking about the minimum rent, the $50 to $150. Yeah, that would be less than 10% of the people.
10% of what number when you say the people?
People who are supported in housing.
And how many people is that, Mr.
About
Director?
4.7 million households.
So if we take, you said 10% of that?
I said less than 10%.
Less than 10%, so 9% or 8%, not going to hold you to it. I think anytime it's the least of us, so let me ask you this, how do we help them? Is it through waivers? Is this an established program? Because here's what I do know, 20 years of being a consultant for HUD. What I do know is many, if not almost all of the people, they want to work. They want to be, to use our terms in housing, self-sufficient. They oftentimes go from a public housing to Section 8. What will you and your team do to help them on the job aspect? Is there a program that will move them to employment? How much time will they get to? So can you talk to the nation and give me the confidence that there will be an allocation period? You know, I know people leave here and they don't get a job immediately and they're well educated. So how does this really work?
Well, as you may or may not have noticed, we've put a tremendous emphasis now on Section 3, which is part of the Fair Housing Act. It's been on the books for 50 years and it's hardly been used. And it requires that if you're receiving HUD money, that you hire the low-income people in that area or train them or give them contracts. People have found lots of ways to get out of it. We're in the process of closing all those loopholes to make sure that they can't.
Can you give me one example? Because you're right. I'm very familiar with it, and it's been on the books, and as you said, respectfully, it's not working. So tell me what and how you're going to make a difference than nobody else has done.
Well, like I said, we've put together a task force specifically on Section 3. We had a big national meeting in Texas just the week before last, with people coming from all over the country, from various PHAs, to learn about the new things that have been done in that arena in order to increase that program. In addition to that,
I don't want to interrupt you, but it's because of the clock, not being disrespectful. Task force, meetings, that's not... And I can tell you, I know the other HUD directors had task force, I've been to meetings, they had hearings. That's not tangible. And one of the reasons this is very important to me is people are calling us and saying, am I going to be evicted? Am I going to be homeless? What happens if this doesn't happen? Because we also know that if you look at, there's no state in America with a person earning the minimum wage can afford a 2-bedroom apartment at market rate. In my state, I can tell you, they'd have to make $17.50. And if you had 2 people in there, they would both have to be making more than our minimum wage to get there. That's not realistic. So I guess I need some more tangibles for me. And if you don't have them,
we need a lot of
time. You can send them to me.
We need a lot of time to talk about that.
Okay. So will you make a commitment that you will have someone on your team, because now I don't feel disrespected that I heard my colleague sent you 3 letters and you didn't even answer him. And let me end with, since we've been quoting the Bible, God will repay each person according to the work they do, and that's Romans.